So you want to make a stir fry, but a good stir fry needs a good sauce to go with it. So I'm making a small batch here. We're gonna go ahead and take a 1/3 cup soy sauce. Use any soy sauce you prefer. We're gonna take a 1/3 cup of broth. I am cooking with pork, so I have a homemade pork broth here, or stock, whichever you'd like to call it. You're gonna take 2 cloves, which I had mashed up. And we're gonna add that in. Make sure you get every last bit there. My little secret ingredient, I'm gonna add just a splash of fish sauce. You want to add some honey in, about a tablespoon's worth. Get that, and that looks good. And you can add more or less, just on personal preference there. You're going to go ahead and add in about a tablespoon worth of sesame oil. And yes, it is going to be separate because water and oil do not mix, and stock and broth is mainly consistent of water. I do like a good little spice to my stir fries, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with some chili paste. And I'm going to get about a tablespoon's worth of, let's do half we'll do a teaspoon, sorry. A teaspoon worth of chili paste, or sauce. And this one is a garlic one, so we're just going to amplify that garlic taste there. And then you're going to go ahead and take a fork or a whisk, whichever you prefer. And we're going to whisk this up. And now what we're going to do, and this is just going to help it to stick and thicken once cooked, is when you are cooking it, you're going to add some cornstarch to your ingredients. But that right there is just a basic stir fry sauce. And do make sure to taste. Oh yeah, that is perfect. Garlic, got that nice umami flavor. That fish sauce just adds a little more umami. I personally think I could do with a little more spice. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another teaspoon. But I also don't taste too much of the honey. And I'm not really adding it for sweetness, but more just for a little more flavor. So we're going to add a tiny bit more of that. There we go. And don't forget to add in a splash of rice vinegar. That's just going to add some acidity. And mix it all up. And that right there is just a simple stir fry sauce. Use however much you like on whichever ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and get my stir fry ingredients all put together, and I will add and show you how to make it. Alrighty, we've got our pan heating up here. I've got all my ingredients, my compound butter. I've got broccoli and green beans that I did previously blanch just to kind of cook them a little bit before, because those take the longest to cook. I've got some bell peppers, some mushrooms. I've got my pork over here chopped up, and I have some onions ready to go. We're just going to go ahead and let this pan heat up real quick, because everything is going to be moving fast. So you want all your ingredients on hand. And I'm actually going to take these big mushrooms out, just because they will take longer to cook. And I will not be using all of the bean sprouts. I just have them there for when I'm ready for them. And everything else looks good to go. So we're going to start with a little bit of our compound butter. All right, and I'm going to add in my onions. I like onions when I'm cooking. Please use a bigger pan. I unfortunately do not have a bigger pan. I'm gonna add in my green beans and broccoli. And keep everything moving. Stir fries, you're stirring. Stirring, stirring, stirring. Keep it all going. I'm gonna go ahead and let this just start sizzling back up again. This is why you want to use a bigger pan, because now it's going to overcrowd. It won't stir fry as well. But like I said, this is all I have, so I'm making do with it. I could divide this really quick and make it in 2 different batches, which I think I'm going to do. So give me one moment. I'm going to transfer this over to another thing, and I'm going to do a smaller batch. I just wanted to use butter at first just because it's got some of that garlic in there, but I will add a little oil now and let the rest cook up. Now, sesame oil does have a unique flavor, so if you're not a big fan of it, use vegetable oil. That does have a high smoke point, which allows everything to cook pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead, add some of these mushrooms in. I'm going to add my pork in now. And if you have a wok, even better, use a wok. I had one. I don't know what happened to it. I think I left it behind in the move. So just stirring, stirring, and stirring. Alright, I'm going to add these bell peppers in now. Just adding a couple since my pan's starting to get overcrowded again. I love bean sprouts, so I might even add some raw on top at the end as well. This smells so good. Once you think you've got a good cooking on all of it, stir fried it up pretty nice, you're going to add the sauce that we just made earlier to it. That sauce is also going to help deglaze. Whoops, losing some stuff. Once you add that sauce, it is going to help deglaze the pan, because as you can see, crispy bits are starting to stick, which is perfectly fine. Alright, now this is where the this is where the cornstarch kind of comes in hand. You're just going to go ahead and take a little bit of a spoon's worth and just kind of put it all over the goodies. And that's just going to help the sauce stick. And go ahead and mix it up. Now that that is mixed, we're going to go ahead and add our sauce. Yeah, see, now I can scrape all those good bits off, mix this all up, and you have yourself a delicious, nicely cooked stir fry. And you can use any meat. Like I said, I had leftover pork, so I used leftover pork. But feel free to use chicken, use beef. Shrimp would also be a good one. If you have sugar snap peas, add those in. That would be good. Tofu, if you're vegetarian. But there we go. it is done. And that is how I make my nice quick stir fry, guys, all from scratch. Shut that heat off, remove it from the heat, and it is done. Now that your stir fry is done, what I recommend you doing, and the best way to serve all this, I think, is over a bed of rice. So take some rice that you have cooked. It could be any rice you like. You could do brown rice, you could do white rice. I did just plain old white rice here. I'm gonna add that in to my bowls. I recommend bowls because there is gonna be some sauce that it will be dripping all over, and it just contains it better. And just go ahead and add your stir fry right over that. Make sure to get all the goodies in there. And look at that, stir fry for two. And that is what I call delicious. I'd probably top it with some fresh cilantro and it is good to go. Yum. Cannot go wrong with some stir fry.